So we're here with Billy Choules, who's runs Frantic Night Chasing, a local trainer here in Bakers Hill, and runs up at Northam and on Mondays and down at Cannington. And Bill's helped me out a lot with the project. What I'd like, Billy, why don't you tell him about the time you won the Perth Cup?
Well, interesting episode. I'll try and cut it down as quick as I can talk, as you know. So, look, the Frantic Night situation was a really a fairy tale story where this greyhound was advertised in the paper for $1,000, and I'd followed the greyhound for quite some time. It was a big black and white greyhound, quite attractive, and the people up the road from where we had our greyhounds at this time was going pretty well with his dogs, and the dog had been in 4 or 5 finals before but never won one. And because it was black and white, and the story is, of course, of me being a Swan Districts man, black and white, football-wise. So I thought to myself, well, I'll ask him. As a matter of fact, I went and got the paper off the front lawn, to tell you the truth, and I took it to the toilet. And obviously I was reading the paper and it had a for sale sign. So I rang him up and I said, Les Christopherson was his name. I said, is this dog for sale? Are you sure? I already had 4 or 5 dogs by that stage. And he said, yes, it's for sale, and it's been checked out, and it's got a lot of white chalk marks on it, and it's had quite a lot of injuries, and the owners have decided to move it on. I said, oh, okay, well, I like the dog very much. Can I come out and have a look? He said, by all means, come out and have a look. So I went out to have a look, and it's got all these white chalk drawings on it, meaning that it's got injuries and, you know, where things need to be fixed up and everything else. Yeah. But I love the dog anyway, and his kennel name was Woody. As you know, there's 2 names with greyhounds. You have a kennel name, yeah. And of course his race name was Frantic Night. And because of Frantic Night, he was born on a very sort of, like today, very wild sort of day, and a lot of thunder and lightning, so hence the name Frantic Night. Anyway, so I said to Liz, I'd like to buy the granny. She said, well, you look after your dogs very well. You can have it for $500. I couldn't believe my luck. So I paid out the $500, took the dog around to my trainer, who said, what the hell have you got there? I said, I've got a greyhound. He said, no, you've got a greyhound. Where are you going to put it? I said, well, you're going to train it. He said, oh, I've got enough of your dogs now. I said, well, I'll take it home and train it myself. He said, oh, no, you better leave it here. He said, what is it? I said, it's Frantic Night. He said, oh, it's not as good as your other dog that you have here in Rocks Court, which has already been nominated for the Perth Cup at that stage in 1991. And the Perth Cup was being run in February, and we'd bought the dog in October. And it was already 4 and a bit years of age, so it was an old dog in the terms of a greyhound. So we took it out, and my 2 boys, Peter and David, and myself, we went out every weekend, and we walked it through the bush and got it really interested again and got rid of its injuries. And anyway, so it came to a stage where it was time to nominate the dog, and he said, oh, it's not good enough for a nomination. I said, oh, would you please nominate it? I want you to nominate this dog. He said, well, you've got your other good dog, Rocks Court. I said, well, he said, oh, okay, I'll do it against my better judgment. Well, in those days, they had to race on a Saturday, followed by, that was sort of like a heat, followed by a semi-final, followed by a grand final. So they raced over 3 weeks. And you had to finish in the first 3, then obviously you had to try and win it if you could. Yeah. So we went through those 2 weeks and we qualified. And the dog himself, in the last week of qualifying on the Saturday night down at Cannington, came right around the outside of the field, and you had to run in the first 4, and he's really coming up, and he'd run second, but he's actually gone down a little bit on the lead dog. So you might think there's anything wrong with that, but a particular trainer went to the stewards and said, look, I don't think that was right the way the dog raced, and they're only got to deviate their head a little bit, and as they deviate their head a little bit, then you've got trouble with the stewards. You're either going to have to do more trials, or it can be deemed as marring, which is fighting and that type of thing. But he never touched the other dog. He did come down a bit, but not enough to cause a problem. So we were all excited. We were sort of enjoying our night, and all of a sudden, 4 races later, we got called down to the stewards' room to say, look, Billy, we've got a little bit of a problem here with Frantic Night. It's been pointed out to us that the dog was coming down on the other dog. Yeah. So he's won the trial. He's now qualified for the final. And we've gone down for the box draw, down to the track, and they've got the baseballers out in the field, and we've got the fella with the batter. He's going to be throwing a ball, and he's going to hit it out to the batters in the outfield, and they've got a glove telling you what box number you're going to have for the final. Okay. So it was a very innovative way. Anyway, so they've done all this, and there's 2 boxes left. Number 2, black and white, and there's number 7, which is a black with a yellow number on it. Yeah. Because I'm hoping like heck we're going to draw the black and white. Well, I've hit the ball in the outfield, And he said, Frantic Night, number 2. From that time on, I thought we can win this race. We could black and white, I'm black and white. As the night built up and we got the dogs come out on the track and we were in box 2, the race is about to start. He's in box 2, all the other dogs are boxed. And they've started off now, there's 2 brothers in the race and they didn't like each other. Same trainer, but the 2 dogs didn't like each other.
Yeah.
But he couldn't pull one of the dogs out of a final worth $38,000 to the winner.
Yeah.
We've actually jumped very well out of the boxes. So now we've started the race, and the 2, which is me, he's jumped to the front.
Yeah.
Like he usually comes from behind. So he's jumped to the front, but by the time they're getting to the winning post, the first time about to go into the corner, he's now running second, and the 1 dog's kicked up on the outside, and the 8 dog, his brother, is on the outside. Well, they've seen each other, and they've gone, bang, together. And I'm on the inside, and I've gone 8 lengths in front, which is called, in racing terms, Frantic Night's got to fly, meaning he's just gone straight through and he's gone 8 lengths in front.
Yeah.
Well, he won by 10 lengths, with me shouting all the way, no need to. Black and white, you see. We had our shoe store at the time, and for 4 weeks after that, I played the race over and over until the tape was worn out.
Yeah, I heard.
So there we are. That's the story of Frantic Night.